Usually in any business, there's the startup phase where there's a lot of excitement. Boy, we got this new opportunity. We are going to take over the world, and everybody's excited. And anybody will do anything to make it happen. He says, then the next E is there's exuberance. It's kind of the next phase of, boy, we're starting to get some traction, and man, we are pretty exuberant about the company. And that leads to great enthusiasm by all the employees. And people start really diving in and pitching in and doing everything it takes to make this business work. He says, you never want to get to the next E. I say, what's that, Ray? And he'd go, euphoria. I said, how do you know if you reached euphoria? He says, that's when all the real expensive cars start being parked in the parking lot. People start coming late. Hey, we've made it. Nobody can knock us off now. We have really arrived as a company. He says, because if you get to that E, the next E quickly follows. And that's extinction. And boy, I have seen that happen so many times with companies where they go through these phases and they lose a grip on what it's all about. They quit innovative, and they're not worried about staying a couple of years ahead of the competition. They just feel like they've arrived. If you are ever in a company where everybody thinks they've arrived and nobody can beat them, you might want to find another job because you will need to in a few months, because that's how quickly things turn over. So make sure that you're thinking about that. Another thing that Ray taught me, when I went to Key Labs, I came over, I'd making a lot of money at Novell from a salary standpoint, made a lot of money on the stock. And so I said, well, if I come in and you invest in a company, I want a salary at this level. He says, that's fine. But I went about a year later, we'd done a lot of great things. And then what happened was I went back to Ray and I said, you know what, I think I deserve a raise. And I just kind of took the textbook approach. I said, we've done this, 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 and this. We've increased the value of the company. I think I deserve a raise. And he goes, are you having a hard time paying your bills? And I go, no. He goes, well, why do you want a raise then? Well, I think we've been asked. He says, you can't take out of both ends of the company. You've got all this equity. You've got all this ownership in the company. Why do you want to cripple the company by taking more cash out of the company? Because cash is the lifeblood of a startup company. And until you've been there and had to pay the bills, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But when all of a sudden there's 6 or 7 or 10 other families that they're counting on the business to pay a weekly or biweekly paycheck, you really don't understand what cash flow means. So guarding every dime you have is really important. In fact, Ray, he was so tight, the guy would only fly senior citizen standby when we would fly places. And if you rented more than like a Ford Focus as a car and Ray found out, you were in big trouble too. He just would not put up with people spending money on stupid things. So remember that when you get into a business and it's your dollars or your investors' dollars, don't spend money on dumb things. It should go to grow the business and to grow the value of your shares. Because you'll make more money on your shares than you ever will on your salary. I went into Ray's office one time. He had a stack of checks sitting up that he'd never cashed on his shelf. I go, what are those? He goes, oh, it's a salary thing. I go, how much do they pay you, Ray? CEO of Novell, we're doing $1 billion. He says, I think last year my salary was $25,000. I go, are you kidding me? Why would you do that? And he goes, let me show you. He showed me the number of shares he owned by the company, and normally that guy at that time would have made 300, 400 grand. He said, I put that back in the company just from an earnings standpoint. He says, I made $5 million on my stock just by giving him that money back. Would you take 25 or would you take 5 million? I go, enough said.